Take a nice deep breath and actually start to just pay attention to the breaths you are receiving, and in whatever natural rhythm you happen to be breathing in right now is perfect. And just take note of the breath. You might even want to close your eyes for a moment or two. We're talking in terms of receiving breath. So for a quick moment here, we might consider, well, what is the source of this breath that I am receiving? And I'm just going to leave you with that for a moment in terms of a little get present exercise. What is the source of the breath I am receiving? And the thoughts that may come along with that, which we're now going to yank you out of and do a little bit, I always say a little bit, of a warm up here for tonight's spiritual workout drop-in. It's fantastic to have everybody along, doing my best to speak at a level that everybody can hear me. And what I want to talk about in terms of our warm-up tonight comes from the concept, here it is, we belong to the planet, not the planet to us. We belong to the planet, not the planet to us. Now, if you've been around for a while, you know that this is a gigantic concept because it has a lot of other concepts inside of it. And one of those concepts is change. The idea we belong to the planet means we're essentially, even though it's a planet and we are spiritual beings in human bodies, we live on this planet. We are part of it and we share its nature. That seems weird, but I encourage you to grok that idea that our inherent nature as humans is similar to or the same as the nature of the planet that we inhabit. So, one of the ways that the planet manages itself, and we talk about this all the time, is that it is in a constant state of change. So if it is in a constant state of change and we allow ourselves to be in a constant state of change, then that's an example of aligning with the nature of nature. It's in change all the time. I'm in change all the time. As I align with that concept, I'm aligning with well-being. If I resist that idea, I don't like change, I don't want change, I don't ever want to change, I want to keep things the same, we are not going to experience that well-being because we're actually in a state of resistance. Now, bear with me. We've also been talking, and it's a massive subject in our world of personal spiritual growth and development, about loss, and specifically this thing we call grief and loss. And we just did a webinar a couple of weeks ago on the subject. I've spoken on the subject a lot. I've written a book on the subject of grief and loss. And where I have come in my own personal journey and professional journey is to a place of let's just separate out grief from loss. Loss is what happens. Grief is what we make it mean. It's usually all in the realm of beliefs. We are always asking in spiritual workout world to be able to articulate. I'm always asking you to be able to articulate the meaning you're making of any of the circumstances that we find ourselves talking about, right? And the method to my madness there is when you can articulate the meaning you're making. Well, my boyfriend broke up with me. That's what happened. I will never be happy again is an example of the meaning I might make from it, right? That's a belief. I will never be happy again. So we're separating out the grief from the loss. and addressing them as two different things, even though we have plotted along and somewhere along the line really conflated them. So as a spiritual workout practitioner, as somebody who has worked in this world, like I say, for some time, that's where the whole thing has taken me. But what I want to ask you spiritual workouters to consider, this is nothing you have to do immediately, but I am asking you to consider a reframe of this thing we call loss. Loss. I had something, now I don't have it anymore. I lost it. Now, what meaning I make from that tends to be, like we just said, grief. And then spiritual workout wise, we go at that issue largely through the concept of beliefs matter, right? So my grief is a list of beliefs that I'm believing. I'll never be happy again, and a zillion other examples of that. What I'm asking you to consider is that perhaps there's no such thing actually as loss. Spiritual beings having human experiences. Here I am, I'm experiencing love, I'm experiencing marriage, I'm experiencing home ownership, I'm experiencing professional career, I'm experiencing interpersonal, all kinds of things. I'm experiencing, right? In that sense, spiritual being having all of these experiences, where does the concept of ownership actually come in? Is this relationship mine, or is it something I'm here to experience? Is this house mine, or is it something I'm here to experience? Is this career mine, or is it something I came to experience? What I'm saying to you, spiritual workout devotees, that might have been exaggerating it for you, but bear with me. What I'm asking you to consider is that if we never really have anything, then we never really lose anything. But we sort of have language for the concept of having and losing. And then we have all kinds of ideas about what it means to lose. If, however, we look at it all from the standpoint that nothing's mine, I'm just sort of borrowing this, I'm just sort of interloping, I'm having this experience, I bought a ticket and I'm going to Disneyland and I'm going to go on all those rides, and then I'm gonna have some food, and then I'm gonna leave and go home. Did I lose the experience when it came to an end? No, we never talk about that in those terms. So I'm suggesting that perhaps we can view all of our experiences from this place. And when we do, and we lose it, or it comes to an end, then what has actually happened? Well, if you ask me, what has happened is something has changed. Something has changed. That person was alive and here last night. Now they're dead and I'm at their funeral. Did I lose something, or did something change? I had $1 million in my bank account, and then it was gone. Did I lose it, or did something change? If you ask me, something changed. And if we, human beings, spiritual beings, having our human experiences, can move out of the place of this sense of ownership of everything, this sense of having versus experiencing, then I think our relationship to loss, such as it is, will, no pun intended, change. All right, nice deep breath with me if you would. Hold on to the juicy bits, let go of the rest, and That was a bit of a rant. Now I want to hear what you want to talk